Tokyo. I'm with my crows.
Your crow?
Yo,
Crodies.
I'm wearing blood colors though.
Not Ravens?
They got these blood colors?
Like, okay, I can spell Crip with my hands.
You're wearing crip colors.
Yeah, blood, y'all.
See?
That's all gay. Girls have their periods, which is consisting of blood, which means your gang choice is homosexual.
Yes.
What do you want to be, a girl?
Or pussy.
Maybe.
It's just
Trans gangster?
I found out I might be losing my job tomorrow, so I
Really?
might be going trans
dope.
on OnlyFans. It's a niche market. I might be able to hop on.
Did I tell you the story about the guy I know that turned into a tranny? He used to be the biggest fucking bigot in the world, and now he's running around like a chick.
Is he bad?
Yeah, he's ugly as shit.
Is he one of them baddies? Those bad trannies?
No.
It's funny because his like crew of people always think that like I give them shit and I hate on them. I really don't care. It's actually my first time speaking on it, so I want to put that out there for the record. If you guys ever do watch my podcast.
Yeah, I remember that fucking argument, dog.
Yeah.
Oh,
If you guys ever do watch podcasts,
that
like,
shit
I don't
was
give a fuck.
hilarious.
I don't give
bro.
two shits about your
my
choice with your
God.
life.
That stupid bitch defended us.
Yes. And even her. Well, I'm not going to get the whole pronoun bullshit with this guy because honestly, I think it's bullshit.
I've identified
Because he doesn't want to chop off
that.
his dick. So
Yes,
if you don't want to chop off your dick, then you're not really trans. My
really?
personal opinion. Like I don't. Like,
Well, let them be it.
they can do whatever they want to. They can say whatever they want. Like I don't
What?
care. But that's just my personal.
I was thinking
Isn't
about
that what
changing my
society
gender to
says?
female for insurance rates.
No, well, yeah, that's the thing. That's you can change your gender, but like to me, it's just like if you're a guy and you're transitioning to a woman and you're not like trying to get the tits and cut your dick off, then you're not really trying to transition. To me, you're just a guy who wants to appear as a woman to take advantage of women.
Yes.
So
No, that's me joining the WNBA.
No, bro. Because if you think about it this way, right? Like women always say they want like a feminine-esque man, right? So
Yeah.
if you're the kind of girl that wants a feminine guy or a guy that you can at least control a little bit in the bedroom, maybe smack him around, choke him, fuck his ass.
You want to be a dom, he wants to be a
You
sub.
know what I mean? So you want to do those kind of things, and that's the kind of man that you would want, right? But like, by doing that, by associating as like sort of feminine energy, like you'll wear like heels or you'll wear feminine clothes. But if you're not going to make the full change,
Yeah,
to me,
I was gonna say-
that means that you're a guy in a dress.
If I was to do it, I
He's a
would do it
feminine man.
24/7. You know?
No, that's my thing.
You gotta
Like,
go. You gotta Bruce Jenner it. Go all in.
And that's the whole thing. There's nothing wrong with being a feminine man or a man that wants to wear dresses, but I just don't consider you trans unless you're willing to make the extra step.
Like, would a
and take
cross-dresser
the
be trans?
hormones.
No, they would just be a cross-dresser.
Exactly. That's
They
how I look at
understand
it,
that
yeah.
they're male and they're crossing over for their
And
sexual
that's how I look at it, yeah.
sexual pleasure. Like, I don't think cross-dressers, do they just go around casually? Maybe.
All our
I'm sure some
cross-dressers-
do,
all our
maybe,
cross-dressers
I don't
still
know.
have regular, like, let's say, like, I don't want to be like that with regular families, but like, yeah, regular platonic family. They have like a wife and kids and shit.
I know a guy from, like, through stand-up. He's a popular stand-up, but he performs as, like, a cross-dresser, But, like, I see sometimes, like, he'll also post on Instagram, like, sometimes in outfits, like, check out this outfit. I'm like, this guy's, he's just literally a cross-dresser and just
Yeah.
embraces it and does his performance with it. I don't know if he does it, like, for sexually behind the scenes, too.
Well,
but,
regardless
like,
of whether he does or he doesn't, like, just to me, like, I just feel like
I just feel
if we're gonna
different-
do all this like classifying of everything, you know what I mean? I just need to keep it a buck on that, like, because my whole thing, people always have this whole like, oh, like you're against like the whole trans thing. It's like, no,
You're not against trans.
I'm against predatorial men, and I feel like a lot of these instances are reasons or ways for men to be predatorial by using the LGBT flag as a like protect me,
pedophiles
like-
starting to try to hijack that movement. Not fully, but like
yeah,
there's
but
attempts
you know what
to.
I mean? It's shit like that because I feel like the LGBT community is not like, I won't say they're a fringe community, but they're not like what's considered normal. They're trying to become what's considered normal, right? But when you add all these little like like the trans and the fucking demi-queer and all the different like it just gets to be too much, right? Like to me, like I have like it's not crazy to me like okay, lesbian, gay people, like whatever, like that's okay, you fuck people of the same gender, whatever. But when we get into the whole like I think I'm this or I think I'm that kind of thing, it gets a little, you start, you know what I mean, muddying up the waters a bit, and it takes away, to me, and people that I like know, it takes away a little bit from the seriousness of the movement. Like I can't sit there and be like, yeah, I want to protect these rights for you to be like whatever sexual deviant.
Well, I've met like the type that also haven't apparently like cut it off, but they fully identify as a female. Like they had fake tits. They take estrogen.
Okay, but that's
they at least I can take
least,
that
that's what I'm saying.
because they fully embrace being a female, but with male genitalia.
If you're taking the estrogen pills and you're getting the breast, at least that. I'm not saying you have to cut off your dick, but
I see what you're saying.
If you don't make the other, like at least part of the attempt, which is either getting the tits, being on estrogen pills, or cutting your dick off. if you don't do at least like one of the three, I'm gonna question how serious you are about being trans. I'm gonna say you're just a cross-dresser. Because, like you have to make a commitment. This thing is literally balls to the wall, so you can't just half-ass it.
You don't really have to make a commitment, I guess, realistically.
But that's the whole thing.
Have to.
You don't have to, but that leaves this air of like, you know, like, oh, like what is this growth? So you can just decide to be like, I'm trans, then one day you be like, no, actually I'm just whatever my assigned gender was.
Do you guys think I'm skilled enough to make the WNBA?
What'd you say?
Do you think I'm skilled enough to make the WNBA if I went
We
off?
were talking about this the other
Give me
day.
a
8
yes.
months.
No, you can't make the WNBA
Said 8
because you're a
months.
man. The WNBA is actually for women.
No, I could transition. If I shave,
but if you,
I
but
could
if
look
you were to, like,
dykey.
say, like, yeah, you're gonna transition, like, of course you make the league for sure.
No, but do you think I would
How
have
do
to
you want
actually
to? You
commit
probably
though?
make more now than you would in the WNBA.
I think it would be like a document of the pursuit, like comedian changes gender, try to make it like a whole story like that to try out for WNBA. But I don't think the WNBA would allow me to try out if
They
knew
wouldn't
that
let you
was
in if
the
they knew
story.
that was the thing. Yeah,
You'd have to actually be like full on into it.
Yeah, because you have to want to be trans first and then want to be a basketball player. Being the basketball player can't come before the trans thing.
Yeah.
Right? That's just how it
What, I
works.
can't figure it out after?
No.
I can't find myself after?
And that's literally what I'm saying.
Like, bro,
But
like-
that's part of the reason why I say it, because it's like, yo, like, for instance, like, you know, with Buddy here fucking Biden doing his whole song and dance for the trans community, like, it's like,
But he's
If
done
you-
more for Wall Street than he's done for anything so far during his presidency.
if you are a man that has spent his entire life being a man, or at least past teenager being a man, and then decide to be a woman, and then you want to get into contact sports, you're a criminal.
You're a criminal.
You're a fucking criminal. That's just how I look at it, because you still have everything that wants to be a man,
Yes.
and now you want to fight women.
Yeah.
Whether it's actually fighting or it's hockey
Well,
or
it could be.
lacrosse,
It could be
whatever,
actual fighting. It
whatever,
could
you're a
be.
fucking animal.
Yeah.
Well, even still, let's take it a step further. There's actually the NWHL, the Women's Hockey League, was like in the news this week. They started because Barstool Sports. You guys know Barstool?
Yeah.
They have the biggest hockey platform, Spit and Chicklets, like podcast. I mean,
Yeah.
And they have a big platform. Their CEO is a woman, and she's a big hockey fan. So she was having like a couple women hockey players on to promote the season and promote the league and try to get some eyes to the league. And then the league puts out a statement that they don't want any players to associate with Barstool at all due to systematic white supremacy and shit, saying that like they're like some white supremacists that they don't support.
I heard about that shit, but like, yo, that's not far from the truth.
Yeah, but we're talking hockey.
That's not what.
Like
it's just
you,
the
you
fact
play.
that-
Oh, you're a
But
woman in hockey.
Barstool,
Come on.
Barstool is started by a Bostonian.
Do you
and
think
a
he's
bunch-
racist though?
He's a white guy from Boston, bro.
I feel like he might have been at some
Yes.
point, but do you think he
Mark
is
Wahlberg's a
now?
fucking racist. Love the
Yes.
guy.
Yes.
Huge fan of his movies. He's a fucking racist.
Yes.
He does have
Apparently,
actual
well,
history of
He
racism.
beat the fuck out of some brown guys, right? But like, I could see him being like, in general, just like meeting him being a kind of racist.
That's
guy.
not just Boston blood.
Yeah.
That's not Boston
And
blood.
at the time, he was running around. He even said that he was running around calling people niggers and shit at
Yeah.
the time. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Like,
But is he
well,
racist anymore? I don't feel like it's still.
I feel
like
still
he's
is. I
one of
feel
the
like-
ones that has genuinely changed.
No, it's not about judge. I just feel like he's one of those ones where like you know when you meet certain celebrities, not like they're gonna be buddy, but when you actually meet him, you'll get the racist energy. Like if you're with your white friend,
He
you'll
looks
see
so
how he'll
wholesome.
deal with the white guy.
Yeah, like for
I don't
example,
get that vibe off
he,
him. Any white guy from Boston is. I'm sorry, this is my like bias. Like you're a fucking racist.
he'd be the kind of right now. He'd be the kind of guy like this. He'd be cool and shit and still, but then he'd come up to me after and be like, you know, back in my day, we used to call this jigaboo music,
Exactly.
which happened to me this week with an old white lady.
What?
She was talking
That's
about
not
like
even surprising. Because
line
that's what white people
dancing,
do.
some random white lady. She's talking about like line dancing. I was randomly because she was like doing dances. Like, oh yeah, I used to line dance, and she's like talking about. She's like, I dance to anything except that hip hop. I don't mean to come off racist. I'm not at all, but we used to call that jigaboo music, and I was
That's
just like,
literally racist.
I was like, I think you just like did the whole racism thing right then and there.
I mean, jigaboo's like poor man's racism. Like you know what I mean? Like for me, it's like I wouldn't.
She
even
did
be
that,
that
but she
offended if a white person
right
said
before.
it to me, but in the same breath, because I know where it comes from, I have to be mad just because.
Terry
But it's
Crews.
not the N word. It's not hitting the same.
Well, I knew it was coming because she did the classic shoulder look. She looked over and she's like,
I
you know
love
what
that.
we
When
used
you
to
say
call
some
them?
questionable shit, there's always some like look over the shoulder, like who's listening.
Make sure no
In that
immigrants are
moment,
around.
I'm always gonna put my phone on to record.
Yeah, it wasn't a situation I
As
could
soon as I
possibly
see you
record. though.
looking for witnesses.
It was definitely not a situation I could have humanly possibly recorded one of those. And it just happened so quick, you're just like, oh, wow.
Yeah, way too quick.
Yeah,
Wow. Did you just say that? You're just like second guessing the conversation there. But like you said, like that's just so common around here.
No, it is.
But I read some bitch in open custody told me. I don't know if you know the opens. Well, you might.
I didn't go to Kennedy, but
the Oshawa one, the kid.
I didn't know Kennedy.
I was doing.
So went straight to Brookside.
I finished off my I didn't go not when I was young. I finished off the last bit of my sentence, and I got some open custody for like the last 3 months or so. But anyway, there's some bitch in there. Her name's Tristan. Some fat, ugly white bitch, bro, with fucking shit tins, fucking beer salt stains broken down and shit, bro. Just
She was a guard?
Yeah, she was a CO, and she's like, I don't like rap music. I don't listen to hip hop. I'm like, well,
why not?
like none at all? She's like, yeah, literally none at all. I was like, And mind you, I've been
Listen,
living there for like about a month
buddy,
at this point.
you are an outright racist if you don't listen to hip hop. And it's not because hip hop is formulated the same. There's too many types of hip hop for you to sit there and be like, I hate hip hop.
And she literally meant all.
Because
no, I'll take
Linkin
it.
Park is fringe hip hop. You don't like Linkin Park?
She didn't even like a man. Doesn't like a man.
That's how I know you're racist. You're a white person who don't even stand by M,
Alright.
you are a racist.
As a devil's advocate here, I don't know how many times I hear people say the exact same, I hate all country music. And
That's
it's like
bullshit,
really
though.
all country
But
music.
that's bullshit, though.
There's some songs that are
listen, hold
actually
on.
good.
No.
Majority of country
know
is the same.
Yes.
I don't like.
know
I
people
say
that
I
will
hate country
say,
music.
I hate
Why
country,
me?
but there is still a 1-2 specific songs that they like.
Yeah.
I like country, but at the end of the day, country has like 3 or 4 formats. You have the hip hop esque country, like your Florida Georgia line, that type of shit.
Or like
You have your older style country, your Tim McGraw, and then you have the newer fucking the new popper country, the more pop country, I guess, your Taylor Swift esque.
But
at one point,
I love
doesn't really do the country.
I love how it's so obvious the racism rooted in the country community. Because when Lil Nas X popped up, they would not consider it a country song on their charts until Billy Ray Cyrus does the remix with them. Remember
It's not
that?
even
They
just
wouldn't
that,
even let
like-
it on the charts.
Okay.
How
That song was so unbelievably country that I couldn't believe they wouldn't take it as country.
I don't know how you could say that in the right mind and not think this is racist.
Obviously, yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's like
This
that
is
just
like-
shows how deep
You
rooted
know what
the
it
racism
was?
is on the
When he
country.
said lean in my bladder, they're like, oh, we don't do that.
How? Yeah.
Because that's the only lyric that cheated on my baby. You can go and ask her. Like, country cadence, and you're telling me no? Guitar is playing, and they're saying nah? Hip hop beat, and you're like, that's not
Yeah,
it.
it's because the bass line was a bit too heavy for
Like,
them.
listen to Lil Nas X's songs in general. And he doesn't always do the country twang.
No, he can
did
play
it
poppy.
more so for that song.
Like Panini would be a poppier song.
Oh, exactly. And that's what Rodeo. Oh, here we go.
That's a bit of a countryside song.
But not as much
element.
as the fucking thing.
No. But that's like a half of these. That does have an element, I would say.
A little bit, yeah.
Because it has the guitar, it has the rhythm.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, you're right.
But it has a heavy hip hop.
But what I'm saying is that he
element as well.
changes his voice when he goes more for the country than he does for the pop.
Yes,
So to say that he's
Puts
not
on
doing
a
it,
country
because you know the
accent.
country voice when you hear it.
Country words.
You
like,
put me
come
on a
Get the fuck
bladder.
out of here, bro. It's like,
You can go and ask her. Can't nobody tell me nothing.
Nothing.
Like he said
come on,
it.
bro. Come
You
on.
can't tell me nothing. I don't give a shit. Like people give him shit because he's a little weirdo, but that song slaps. I don't give a fuck.
Dog, we're
I
bringing-
don't give a fuck who he's fucking. That song is fire.
We're bringing Seashanties back this year, by the way.
Yeah.
I was did you hear me play that sea shanty yesterday?
No.
I was gonna do a good quality.
And then I saw a
post
video of
on
you on the
Instagram.
fucking on the beach, and I was like, all right, I've had enough.
You know, like what sea shanties are. I was bored the other day, and I learned some 1800s one called Wellerman. It's like, the blind man go. Here's an example one.
Look at
Leave
the
her,
color
Johnny,
of
leave
my
her.
skin, bro.
Leave her, Johnny, leave her. You know that fucking shit? You see it in, like, have you played Assassin's Creed? Like,
Yeah.
Black Flag?
No.
Like, all the songs in that
Well,
were like
I'm
shanties.
I'm playing Valhalla, so
The new
we're
one?
not really doing sea shanties. We're doing Viking songs,
Okay, what are
which
they
are very
like?
similar. They're more like, I want to say like Gregorian calls, but they're more choir-esque. than,
But at the end of the
but they're
day,
definitely a sea shanty.
the same as sea shanties, those, and like I'm sure like any sort of slave song lines, they all have the same thing. It's just like boost morale of your shitty ass fucking situation.
Nah.
Really, that's what they're all rooted in the same thing. And I'm sure culture's
That's
all around.
the music was at the time. Like it's like
Just past time, right? While you're
I
busting
can't
your
remember
ass.
what part it was when they started talking about like love and relationships, but most of it was just like wade in the water.
Yeah.
Yo, my white privilege is running out though. I'm not gonna lose my job tomorrow.
I remember you were saying that.
It's fucking bullshit because this is not supposed to happen to a white guy.
Nah.
This system's built for us. What?
You built the system.
Fuck. Nah, I might just have to put all my life savings into AMC because we're going to the moon, baby. We're going to the moon. AMC.
Yeah. Okay.
I put in. You don't know much about the stocks. Do you understand what happened with that whole Reddit and Wall Street bet situation? Eh?
What about the?
Did you understand what exactly happened there?
I read the tweets and shit.
So I'll give you a little rundown, a little layman's terms, pretty much. So someone realized that these big hedge funds bet shorts, which shorts are pretty much betting that these companies are going bankrupt, and they're making billions off of it, and they're putting massive amounts, so they drive the stock price down. And so they were crashing places like GameStop and AMC to pretty much drive these people out of business by betting so hard against them. So everyone on Reddit, it's yo, if we drive this stock price up, they're going to have to pay for these shorts because they were betting large amounts of it going crashing. So instead of crashing, they shot the price up for GameStop. It was at $30-$40. They shot it up to $300-$400. And it was the end of the month. So however much higher, they're going to have to pay X amount of interest payments. So they literally, by doing this, drove pretty much one hedge fund into bankruptcy because they had to pay $15 billion because they just drove the price up. So it's pretty much a bunch of idiots like me just online and a couple people that know what they're doing strategically yo, everyone.
What's hilarious for me is just thinking about these guys all at their hedge fund working and it's fucking
what's going
losing
on?
their mind.
What's going on?
Around trying to shred shit. They're just what the fuck?
What the fuck?
Because it's just that job they've been
so
doing
stupid.
it so steady for so long, ripping people off,
Finessing the system.
Then they just get fucked one day.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, they just can't pay it.
Well, the best is
and everyone's invested in that shit that has money.
So the crazy thing is the reaction to it is all the apps. So Robinhood's an example of an app people trade on. They started to restrict so you could only sell, not buy, and which would drive the prices of those back down to save the hedge funds' asses. Which is market manipulation, blatantly.
Yeah.
So they won't let people buy it, but now this week,
they'll let you buy it now. They'll let you buy it, but only in a measured amount over a certain time period.
I got some AMC just to say fuck you to the system, and this week there might be a potential for a short squeeze where it shoots up to fucking $50-$100, and I got it at fucking 15. So I was fuck, if I can even double my money, it hits 30, I'm fucking just cash out quick. Oh, fucking double the money. Just $1,000. So nothing crazy. I was I'll throw it in just because it kind of fucks over the system. The more people that were buying, was they were trying to get people to sell. So right before they put the pause on, I could already had a trading account. I was I'll just throw $1,000 on AMC. Because AMC usually trades at up to in the 60s when they're open normally. So it's fuck. Even if it doesn't work out, if I just wait it out to life going back to normal, at some point it's going to be,
Which is never.
That's the argument. That's the potential with a bet, right? But it's fuck. If I lose my job, I'm a day trader now.
All these things, all these luxuries that we had, it's either gonna be A, you gotta be spaced out, or B, they want proof of vaccination. To be one or the other, right?
You gonna get that vaccine or what?
Fucking stupid.
But what if you want to go to Mexico or some shit?
Then I'll go.
What if they won't allow you? Or are you gonna get a fake vaccine
Once
card?
again, I said there's nothing in this world that you cannot pay for to have done.
Yeah, fuck.
People are importing children for Christ's sake. You're telling me I can't get a fake vaccination form?
Hook me up with that link when you find the link, please.
It'll be expensive, but yeah. I honestly suggest for everyone to do it because fuck a vaccine.
Maybe I'll start doing
the vaccine.
that.
Once again, the vaccine doesn't even prevent you from getting it. It just makes it not as bad. That's what a flu vaccine is for. Is it a flu?
I would get it if I had to.
I would only get it once it's been on the market for a few years.
Think about the vaccines we got in elementary.
10 years, maybe.
Remember the vaccines we got in elementary school?
Yes, that were on the market for 30, 40 years already.
Yeah, they weren't.
I'm fine with that.
Did anything even happen to you guys with that shit?
No, but those have been on the market for a long time. They've been tested and proven.
They give you cookies.
My issue is it's a vaccine that's popped up within a year. That doesn't even stop me from getting it. It just makes the symptoms not as bad.
Yeah, bro.
Potentially. I'll just take my chances that if I do get it,
first year cars
bad.
that come out are still shit.
So you're telling me I shouldn't finance a Bronco this year?
Of such simple things that are shit.
I wanted to finance that new Ford Bronco this year. It comes out. So you're saying it's a bad year because it's the first year?
I really think I'm going to do the RSQ8 over the RS6.
Really?
Yeah. No, because I was talking to a guy about it today who has the Urus, and he was just yo, the fucking RSQ8's faster. It has it's the exact same fucking car. Because obviously Audi is Lamborghini, Volkswagen Group owns all of these cars.
Yeah.
So the RSQ8 is basically it's like the same shell. The only difference that it's made of aluminum, so it's lighter. So that like weight difference, because it's the same engine.
What brand would that be?
It's Audi.
Yeah, okay.
Audi, yeah.
You're not going to go up to Lambo though for good?
No. I wouldn't want to have a Lamborghini.
You're just too much attention on you?
I just think it's a little outrageous to drive a Lamborghini and still live like in a regular house in Ajax. Like I have to get a bigger home and get my business solidified before I think about putting $250,000 into a car, right?
Yeah,
that's just me personally. Like, mind you, like the RSQ8 is still gonna probably be like 140, but I'm trading in my Audi too, so I'm hoping I'll get a little bit off of it, and then I'll just be owing like I want to say maybe 90, and I'll put like 10, 15 on top.
Yeah, man.
I'm paying basically the same thing I'm paying for my car right now.
I was looking to finance one of those brand new Ford Broncos. Have you seen them? They're supposed to come out this year.
Yeah, I do like them. What it is for me is
it's the first
nostalgic.
Year.
It's nostalgic for the Bronco to be back.
Exactly.
But like honestly, Ford vehicles haven't impressed me the longest time. Other than like the truck, the F-150, I love F-150s, but even that, like out of all the trucks you can get, it's still not a great truck.
The Raptor's nice.
Yeah,
that'd be the ideal for me.
The Tundra is still a better truck for being a truck.
Yeah, but I'm a white guy, so like I like to impress the other white people.
But you gotta get a older one because of V6 now. Shit.
You gotta realize, as a white guy, there's a flex you can do on like rednecks and shit. If I just pull up in a nice truck, and you don't know nothing about that truck, it's just the funniest flex. It's so pissed. They're like, what is fucking like city boy doesn't even know what he's driving.
Apparently Chrysler, I'm not sure if this is true, but I saw it on the internet somewhere, was talking about putting the SRT engine in their Pacifica, and I just sat there like,
what the fuck's the SRT engine?
The SRT engine is what's in the Hellcat.
I don't know if it's true.
So if you put a Hellcat in, like, you literally, like, now you're in a place where you really can market a minivan to men. Yeah. Like, you look at your wife and you're like, well, why would we just get the rate? We can get the SRT, right? And you're just, you don't feel like,
well, you got all the space in the world for the kids.
As a 7-seater, yeah, but like you're definitely still going to be in that 480, 500 at least horsepower range. It's an SRT engine. I don't know if it's the Hellcat one, which is that 700, but if you did,
I think it was the Hellcat.
But even if you did,
it was the Hellcat one.
If it's the Hellcat, because you put a 700 horsepower engine in a fucking minivan, are you stupid? Even the kids
like
are like, I don't
is it a minivan that looks like a minivan too?
No, it's 100%. It's a Pacifica. It'll have the SRT badges on it and shit. And probably have a Hellcat badge maybe, but
that's not bad if you blocked out everything with heavy tints, all black.
Disgusting.
You're just whipping a minivan.
Lower it an inch maybe. Rude boy. You're moving nasty. Moving super stout.
You low-key have a kid, but it's sick.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. Like, the whole... I've always wondered this. Like, the whole issue about the minivan is that as a man, you feel defeated once you've gotten it. It's kind of like...
Yeah, it's like getting a vasectomy.
It's bad. It's a vasectomy of cars.
100%.
You know what I mean? You trade in a car that you like for a van, and you're like, oh, it's over for me. It's done. Like,
yeah,
really,
like,
it's over.
The two guys at the fucking mini mart or whatever pulling up in a minivan, they look at each other and give each other the head nods that they've both been fucking beaten. Yeah. They've both been surrendered.
But that's the whole thing. Like, I always thought to myself, like, as a man, like, I don't give a fuck how big my family is. We'll just have an SUV. Like,
yeah, that's the good thing about pickup. You're like, we have all the space in the world. It's great for a family vehicle.
You can get a fucking pickup that has a quad bench and you're fine.
Like, yeah, or you get like mine, the passenger cab one. It's lots of space. Five seats.
It's bare space.
You put shit in the back.
You could actually still have a fucking car for Christ's sakes. Once your kids are like fucking teenagers, then it's a little, but...
No, the Broncos...
The van, the SRT van, like, now we're talking, like, that's different. That's going to make men sit there and be like, well, it's not that bad having this minivan because I still have that vroom.
I'm telling you, the Ford Bronco, I'm going to get it yellow. Blacked out fucking heavy tints, blacked out rims with some nice mutters on it. And it'll be a fucking perfect flex. If we pull the boat with it, because you got to realize I want something that can pull my boat. So that puts me in, I have to be in a V6.
I heard the Bronco's going to be electric too, or hybrid, which makes me like soft. Like that makes my dick soft.
Yeah.
Anytime I hear like, I don't know. Like,
there's an option, no, there's a sport option though.
I just don't like it. Like,
it was the electric Mustang.
You want my issue with electric cars?
How fast does the electric Mustang go? But electrics go faster. Like Teslas are the fastest car, are they not?
Teslas are the fastest car in the class, yeah. But at the end of the day, it's still...
No.
They just don't got longevity on it.
It's still quiet. That's my problem.
Just go...
They haven't figured out how to manipulate the engine sound. And to me, that's my biggest issue with electric cars. Like, part of the flex of having a fast car is being able to hear it.
Yes.
And I want to hear... Like, you know what I mean? I don't want to sound like I'm driving a fucking... one of those little carts in Walmart.
But the big flex is you can upload custom audio for your horn, which is amazing. Have you seen those where it's like the Pornhub fucking one audio? Or it's like, Daddy chill! This one guy showed on TikTok, it was like, the Daddy chill! As a fucking horn on his Tesla, and he just ran around to people and he's like, Daddy chill!
And it dances for you, it does a Christmas song.
Yeah, my uncle has a Tesla. He has this SUV one. It's self-driving, but it's only good on the highways. The self-drive, it needs like lines on the road.
Yeah.
And then it can like, so highway driving's not bad, but even still, like, I just need to be in control. I don't like giving control away like that. Yeah. There's something that fucks in my head. I don't even like cruise control, personally.
That's the whole thing, like, you know, I just don't...
Asleep, like, yeah.
Unless everyone's on the same network of cars.
I saw this thing where this guy did, he tried to do his driver's test with the fucking auto thing on. The Tesla.
Say word.
But that's the whole thing to me.
Did it work?
It got hot, obviously. It got caught.
Fair.
But to me, it's just like I enjoy driving, but I do understand there's times when I'm tired, and it'd be nice to be like, all right, auto drive. I'm off this. Like, you know, I just get home.
Or if you're drunk or like on drugs.
Get home, nigga. You're not getting home.
You put drunk drive autopilot mode, so it's just like 100% AI control now. We're gonna get you home safe.
That's a thing too. It's just like, you know, like
they put you in park and everything, shut it off. Like,
yeah, it does.
I don't know if it'll go in your driveway, go park and all that, shut itself off.
It'll go in your driveway if you tell it to.
I don't know, man.
If you program your driveway as like home, I think it'll try and turn into your driveway.
Yeah, I would try to.
It can turn into parking spots for Christ's sake. Why can it not turn into your driveway?
True.
I don't think it's gonna navigate that with cars on the.
It could. I'll once I grab one, I'll try it out. I'll go have a nap on my way home and put my address.
Or like not even that, like, you know what I mean? Like, I think it would struggle with like parking garages and shit like that. But like, I feel like a driveway should be fine. It's Google Maps or Tesla Maps, I should say. So literally, it's just, you know, it's following where it knows to go.
Don't drink and drive unless you have autopilot. That'll be the motto.
Don't drink and drive if you want to. Just be safe if you're gonna do it.
The Tesla drinking.
See, my
you have to drive to the driving intoxicated.
People hate my idea of that, but I just don't believe in. Like, that to me is like a freedom being taken.
Drinking and driving.
Yes.
It's like driving with your kids in the back of the truck. It's like, you can do it and be alright, but like, more often than not, someone gets hurt.
No, but I think the issue, once again, the issue with drinking and driving is because of human error, right? Because too many people think they can drive drunk when they can't. That's what the problem is. But there are plenty of people that actually can control their liquor, or might have like 2 or 3 drinks and be able to drive perfectly fine. Whereas there are people that have 2 or 3 drinks and can barely even fucking walk. So that's why we're not allowed to drink at all. See what I'm saying? That's my issue with it, is that, like, you should be able to gauge, as an adult, how much you drank and be like, I shouldn't drive home. To be honest with you, like, there have been times where I've been like, yeah, like, I was so wasted, I shouldn't have driven home. But I didn't actually think I couldn't drive home.
Yeah, those times
I just knew that I drank way too much to consider driving home. I still made it home.
I have my own sobriety test. If I can do a one-legged squat, like a piston squat, one-legged, I'm good enough to drive. If I can bounce on one leg and squat up and down and, like, you know, I could probably
good enough to
handle
drive
it.
is if my keys are in my pocket, we are driving.
Anytime? You've never been too fucked up or like I can't?
I've been too fucked up, but I just still drive.
If I'm
it's
like,
not hard. Like, yes, you're really drunk and you're like, sometimes you have the spins and shit, but you just drive. Like, for me, like, okay, you understand, I drive fast and aggressively most of the time. Mm-hmm. So for me, driving drunk, I'm 100% focused because I don't want to fuck up, and I'm driving like a fucking citizen.
Speaking of the
like
guy that crashed around the corner because he fell asleep behind the wheel around his fucking house.
Yeah, and I wasn't even drinking. So what does that tell you? That's exhaustion. That's completely different, right? Well, if I'm exhausted and drunk, then I'm like, really, that's usually when I won't want to drive. Because if I'm so drunk that I want to sleep, like I'm not even thinking about trying to fuck or something, I just want to go to bed, like, no, I'm not going to drive. Because for me, tired driving is dangerous.
Well, tired driving is bad.
Yeah,
that's
but for me, like, once again, like drinking, for me, and this is not for everybody, I can drive drunk behind the wheel. Like, I'm not going to drive erratically. I'm not swerving out of lanes. And this is me, like, let's say 3/4 of a 2.6 deep, which is way too much to fucking drive on.
2.6 deep. This guy's fucking... You're not driving. You're gonna have a mixing of water probably before.
But yeah, I've driven on like 9 tall cans in an hour and a half. Like,
true.
I'm also a big guy too, so maybe like I'm not simulating that into the facts of average people. Sure, but like
you can
to me,
handle
it's like,
more for sure.
Like, bro, I'm not like that's what I'm saying. I
don't lean that gets
I don't
you.
have the blurred lines where I can't see the road and shit. Like, I just feel like I feel the drunkenness. Like, you feel like, you know, that like the good mood, the smile in your face, like that type of shit. But I don't feel like For instance, I never blacked out. One time I ever blacked out drinking, I was on Molly and fucking Perks. So
When was the last time you were on Molly?
that's the only time I did Molly.
Yeah.
Once before I went to jail.
But Molly, I feel like it actually enhances your performance. One time I drove the next morning, I took Molly, but like I had to get up early in the morning and go to like a trade show. And I remember driving down what's it when you're downtown Gardner? And on my way to Mississauga, and I remember it was just like 30 a.m. and I just felt so good. But I was definitely like still high on that Molly from a couple hours before.
For
but
sure.
like I feel like I was like enhanced like my performance. Like
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't feel like drugs and alcohol affect everyone the same.
also, there's different drugs like acid, for example. You may
Yeah,
think
I'm not
that
gonna-
sounds fucked up.
I'm not gonna do acid and drive.
No, but even still, you might be able to if you're not too high on acid. Like a guy threw a no hitter on acid, and remember that in the fucking 70s or whatever in the MLB, a guy threw his only no hitter in his career on acid. So like there is some of these drugs that weirdly like actually like help you reach peak performance in a fucked up way if you know how to handle them. Probably, like that guy when he threw a no hitter on acid, he must have done acid before. I'm assuming that wasn't his like fucking first time doing that drug and going up to pitch. He was probably used to it.
I mean, there's a possibility, but like, I don't think it was his first time ever doing acid ever. He probably has a history of doing it.
You have to before
being
going
able
to
to
a game.
fucking. That's what I mean. Like, if you have a history of doing something, like for me, it's like I smoke a ridiculous amount of weed. So
You're
for
gonna drive fucking stoned for sure.
exactly, and the whole concept of people are like, oh, that's bad. You shouldn't be driving stoned. But I'm like, I'm always stoned, so there's no difference between me being stoned and sober because I live my life high all the time. Except when I'm sleeping. So it's like, am I a mess the road when I'm on the road high? No, because it's no different because I'm always high. Mind you, my high isn't 8th grade giggling I need to eat a bag of chips high. I'm just high. Like, I know that I'm not sober. But I'm not, like, you know what I mean? I'm not in that realm where it's like,
Have you ever actually gotten the gigglies?
What,
in
yeah,
your
when I
early
first used
years?
to smoke weed, when I get a new strain, and it's like, you know, I haven't really, it's really strong, and I have a couple drinks, like, I'll get a little, I know when I'm higher than when I'm not, like, you know what I mean?
You know what gives you like a hard OD of those gigglies? Shrooms. It'll give you waves of where you just like fucking
and
end up in those like
But once
heavy
again,
fucking
if I'm
laughs.
in a position where, like, if I really feel like I can't do something, then I won't. I'm not gonna like jeopardize my life and people that are around me because I need to get home. But like I said, like for me, like being on substances and being able to operate a motor vehicle is not a problem. Every crash that I have, I've been sober for.
The last one you say you're sober?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. Well, legally, yes.
Yeah, legally. But in terms of like, you were super tired though. That
Yeah,
time of
but-
day, you probably were smoking weed all night, super burnt out. Like
Yeah,
legally
but
you're sober, but you definitely weren't in like a sober frame of mind when that happened. For you to like be that tired and
I
like
would be a sober
drowsy.
frame of mind because at the end of the day, like if I had just smoked weed and I was tired from smoking weed, that's one thing. But if I smoked weed earlier in the day, it's the same thing with the sober rule. Like if you have a fucking drink, then you can't drive for an hour after that drink. That's how it works. So it's the same guideline.
Chug a couple waters and you're fucking
It's not
off.
about that. It's about the timeline that you have. So you have 3 drinks, you can't drive for 3 hours. That's how the government had decided these rules for the
Government has
alcohol
dumbass
content.
rules, just like the fucking quarantine
No,
hotels.
of course.
2K for 3 nights is what in Canada for those listeners out there. What they say, international travel, you have to pay 2K for 3 nights in a hotel.
2 grand for 3 nights, and you have to for 14 days.
No, I think it's 3 days, right?
Only 3
Until your test. It's 3 days in those hotels, and then until your test results
I
come
think
in.
you're just off the hop. Yeah, it's a 3-day way. But either way, it's 2K for 3 days. So, I mean, for what I've seen, the rooms aren't that terrible. But once again, it's like
That's the one they put released.
exactly.
Not everyone's getting their fucking presidential suite at the fucking Hilton.
At the end of the day, it's an irrational amount. Like whatever I left the country for, I left the country for. If we're gonna get on that, like even the travel ban.
Allow me to go to my house.
I said off the hop, like regardless of how you feel about it, the travel ban saying you can't go to the Caribbean and to Mexico is racist. It's a racist travel ban.
Just like the China one was racist.
No, the China one makes sense because the virus came from China. But to travel ban you from going to the Caribbean, where a lot of Canadian people are from,
yeah,
majority of blacks here are from.
Don't go to your Jamaica house.
Sorry, you can't go.
What did Doug Ford
Tell
say?
in your yard.
What does that mean, like tender yard?
I guess I'm not Jamaican.
No, but like in terms of like the translation.
You stay in your house. What he did is a stay-at-home order.
Tender yard. Did I say it right?
No, I don't know. I'm not Jamaican.
True.
I had to ask my Jamaican friends for
Stay
confirmation.
in your yard.
I was like, yo, this doesn't sound right to me. And they're like, it
Yard
doesn't.
meeting.
Rob would have killed that better for sure.
100%.
They're getting a
Rob was more
lawsuit
in touch
about
with the
those,
community.
though. Yo, do you think Doug gives a fuck at this point anymore?
No, not really. But you're conservative and you're locking shit down. Like, you don't give a fuck. You're not even doing what your fucking morals say you're supposed to do.
For the people ill in his bio.
For the money, like, you're not for any of that shit. You're for yourself, for big business.
Not local business. Yo, man, I'm like, might need to start a food truck, you know?
It's a bad time to do that. But I have one if you want, 15K.
What do you mean you have one?
I don't have one. It's a guy I know has one.
You know,
but it's not even like a real food truck. It's one of those like little fucking shanty things.
Shanty?
Like, I'll show it to you. I think this guy posted it. It's so funny because I heard him talking about doing it, and then he just had this barbecue thing out of nowhere.
So my rapist grandfather has a bunch of like food trucks because he runs the like for festivals like food.
Is he raping a lot of them?
Not anymore. I think he got off the alcohol fucking 40 years back there.
Yeah, here it is. One of these. It's like the hot dog stand. 15K. Like, to me, I'd say go fuck yourself. But,
yeah, for that piece of shit, 15K.
Hey.
I'll go finesse my rapist grandpa for one of his old ones.
That's what I would do.
Like, yeah, like, remember what you did to grandma?
You don't want to take money from your parents for your car, pussy.
I wouldn't? I would. If it was the right car.
You're one of those fucking, you want to be one of those self-made white men, but the problem with being white is you can never be self-made. The system's been set up for you to win. We're not on an even playing ground, so you'll never be self-made.
I will be.
It's not your fault.
I will be. So you're saying just take the handouts and 100%.
Run. Bro, for me, it's like
right.
I'm not gonna go hard for to look at my kids and say, well, sorry, I didn't have this, so you don't have it. Like, no, I want my kid to be like, oh, like, I'm 16 now, I want to get a car. And I'm like, what are you thinking about? What do you want, son? And he's like, like, maybe I want a charger. I'm like, all right, we'll see what we can do. And he ends up getting a charger. That's how I want to be. I'm not saying that I don't want my kids to have values.
Start dropping some loads, brother.
But I don't want to have a situation. I don't want to tell my kids no because I was told no. I think that's bullshit. I think you should be able to give your kids whatever the fuck you can. Like, what else are you doing this shit for? Yeah, you live your life lavish. You get to where you want to be sick. Yeah, but then for your kids, they should be living lavish too. What the fuck is the point? For you to be rich and them to be dads to show them a lesson? Like,
yeah, that's ridiculous.
That's just the way I look at it. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, if your parents have the opportunity to help you, why would you say no? Like, they'll help you. Your parents will give you money for things. Why would you say no?
No, my parents wouldn't, like, give that much money.
They're not going to, like, buy you a car, but I'm sure if you're like, yo, I have $5,000 for this car, would you give me 5? They'd be like, yes.
Maybe not 5. They'd be like, here's like 3. Okay. Max. I just don't say like 5.
But still, that's $3,000 on more than a lot of people's parents would even consider. A lot of people's parents would just say, fuck you.
But what I need
money's tight.
What I
my
need
parents
to do...
never gave me money for any car. I've given my parents a car. They never gave me... Oh, no, my dad gave me his car. So it's only fair that I gave him half of it. No, but when I first got my license, my dad had his Corolla, which I fucking loved. Well, I killed that car, too. That was texting and driving.
Good Toyota.
One. Yeah, it was a great car. I loved it.
Texting and driving, classic.
Yeah. Classic, yeah. And then he had a van, so it was fine. He had 2 cars. I had the Corolla. But at one point, he had a van, and then the van broke down. I was on house arrest at my uncle's house. I still had my car, so I gave him my car. So he had my car for like 2 years when I was on house arrest.
What was your car?
I had a Honda Civic. That's before I started buying foreigns. That was the last cheap car I had. And after that, I was like, nah. So since about 2015, 2016, I've been driving foreigns.
Like, what have you been driving? Like Audis usually?
I had 2 Beamers. I'm on my second Audi now. I'm gonna get my third Audi this year. I'm getting my RSQ8 this year.
Why don't you just get the fucking Lambo, man?
I don't want a Lambo.
Be a man.
I don't want. If I wanted the Lambo, I'll get it. Like, once again, I'm test driving it now just to see how it is. But at the end of the day, like, even if I really loved the Urus, I know that I can get the RSQ8. And it's the same car, so there's no like feeling sick about getting it. Yeah, it's like when you get like a Huracana, it's like there's not an Audi that's like a Huracana. You can buy an R8. Huracan, whatever. I don't even know the names of these cars. Huracan.
He just buys them.
Tropicana. I don't know.
That's where I want to be at. I want to be at a financial.
Not the Ferrari Tropicana.
I always wanted to be the financial part, like rich enough where my buddies that like love cars could come over, and I just have like these sick whips. I'm like, I don't even know what's called a Bugatti. Apparently, it's pretty fast. I
don't know.
They're like, oh my god. You're like, I don't even drive.
No, I love the car flexes to me when guys have like Model Ts and shit. I'm like, what do you even have this for? Like, it has a fucking steam engine for Christ's sakes. You're just like, yeah, there's only 3 of these in the world. I'm like, holy fuck, bro. Like. That's to me is the flexing. Like
those are the people that like museums at their house. They're
yeah,
like,
see what I'm saying? Like that's how you're moving different. Like
that's an
and
artifact.
those things, but this is the thing. Those kind of things. That's when your money is different because you're not even just buying things for personal enjoyment to say you have it. This is just an investment. You can always flip this later for X amount of dollars. Like that's what I realize really rich people do. That's why they're buying this bullshit. Like you're sitting here like, why do you want to own that? It's like, because I can sell it later.
It's a high
Baseball
value.
cards, jerseys, all the shit. You can
Art,
sell it later. You can sell it later. Like
art.
That's a big one.
Arts is such a scam though. Like
it is because you can literally. What happens? People aren't really aware of this on a local level. But like, let's say you have high level drug dealer who knows art gallery guy who gets art from Joe Smo, and he tells art gallery guy, "Hey, this is worth X amount of dollars, so it can be sold." On the flip.
I should open an art gallery now that I'm out of work. That's what I should actually do.
Well, that's how it works. That's how it works. Like somebody just says it's good. Like bro, like art is based on the perception. Look at the things that we made.
No, but
cool art-wise, and we said we're amazing. They're not amazing. It looks like shit, but we just allow it because some asshole said it was good one day.
We should just set up a fucking space where we just make branded as like a cultured art gallery. We just like bring in people we know, set up their art, and like create the value because that's what you do. You just have it set up. You're creating the value. Like, that's worth that much, and then some people might just start buying it. You just have like local artists perform in there and like come there and like photo ops there.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck about local artists though. You guys still get on your own.
You know the art gallery they have in the village?
No.
Yeah, exactly. But they have, you know, where everyone used to smoke in Pickering High, you know, Village Arena? Behind there, that parking lot, and there's a next building right next to it. That's like a tiny little thing, and it has like an overhang. You know where I drove past you?
I know what you're talking about. I just realized that's a fucking... I didn't realize it's an art thing.
Yeah, it's like an art gallery, but like, what do you realistically think that's worth? Or do you think that's a city-owned? But either way, you take that and you turn that into... Not even that one necessarily, but you just take a space, call it an art gallery, and then you just put paintings up. And just be like, that's fucking... I'm worth $100K. Fucking very unknown artist named fucking G Hood painted this. And it's like your dog prints. You just put like a canvas out and let your dogs walk all over like a canvas for a while.
I don't know. Have you seen that on TikTok lately? Like they just put a canvas with like squirts of paint inside of a bag, and they put peanut butter all over the bag and let the dog like look. But we call
it and make it look like a. I'll be like the white co-owner, but we call it like a black-owned gallery in Durham.
People would be pissed find out there's even a white guy involved in that.
That's no, it's a multicultural. Yeah, I'd have to brand it as like a multicultural.
Yeah, if they say like, you're like, oh, this is like the first black.
Because I want to bring the racists in too sometimes. Like, I want to get everyone in the gallery.
We don't have to get the racists in though. We don't need their money.
No, but we can identify them. You're talking about a long game here. You get them on an email list.
I don't know, because it's like, I'm in this weird space with that shit because part of me is like, yeah, like let's identify the racists. But the next part of me is like, well, are we actually just getting people fired because of like they might have been a little racist? Like,
but hypothetically, even if you
it's kind of crazy. Like,
no, but actually,
it's just not. It's just like growing up from like how the world was to think that like, oh, someone said something racist on the internet and now their parents lose their jobs. It's like, is that right? Is it though? Like, I mean, I'm not saying like,
unethical
fuck racist, but like, you're gonna take so they can't make money, they can't have a living because they're racist. That's what you think?
Well,
do you, like,
if niggas really gonna stop shopping here, then fuck.
That's the whole thing. Like,
people will hire them.
If you have a job where you're actually being demonstrative and stopping black people from achieving or getting what they need to do because you are racist, by all means fire them. But if you have a job and you do your job every day, but when you go home you're like, I hate niggers, I don't care. That's my point. You know what I mean? It was like the whole Donald Sterling thing, all the racist shit he said. I was like, okay, but is he paying his employees on time? Yes. So, is he that racist?
That was inside his own crib.
Inside his own home, recorded by his wife. Where you think you're safe?
Side ting, I think. Oh, his
basically
white girlfriend or whatever. Yeah, his
main bitch is your wife. I don't give a fuck.
His wifey.
Yeah, wifey, I should say. Even better. But that's my whole point. Like, you know.
No, but in this terms of this gallery, if you even branded it as urban, like cultured, diversity, like gallery, obviously the rich racist people are going to go there for their art. That's where they're gonna shop because nothing those rich racists love. They're like,
rich racists
I'll get me one of them colored paintings.
Like rich racists don't get caught being racist. That's why they stay rich.
But they're the ones who will actually buy products from that. There's high end things.
But but like, there's no way to determine that they're gonna be racist. They could just be rich and not be racist.
Yeah, true.
You know, I mean, the determining factors are usually shown by the poor racists. They're the ones gonna have a fucking Confederate flag on the back of their truck, even though we're in fucking Durham.
Yeah.
Like, it's those guys that show themselves. Like,
there is one time where I think it's okay to have a Confederate flag, and it's if you have the Dukes of Hazzard car.
if you have General Lee, then yeah. Like,
that's the only time I'd be like, all right.
Yeah. and I'm fine with that too because it's a GTO.
You best.
It's orange. You can't like you know what I mean. You can't have the O1 on the car, but not the Confederate flag. Like, come on.
And were they racist, the Dukes of Hazzard?
Yes.
In the show, were they like represented as a kind of racist?
Listen, listen, that flag was put on that car with the intention of being racist. Let's get that out of the fucking way. 100%.
Producers,
but it is a staple and a part of history, and if the car is what it is, and even though the show wasn't really racist, let's let that one slide.
Remember in the recent movie, they actually had a joke about it when they're in like downtown Atlanta, and like the black guys are like looking at the car, and like,
and the funny thing about this is that movie is so old.
That was the Jessica Alba one.
Yeah, the movie is so old, and like people are making a big deal about it now, being like, "Oh, the Confederate flag is racist," and white people are like, "No, it's not." And it's like, well, that movie came out how many years ago, and you guys knew it was an issue then when you watched it. Everyone knew the Confederate flag was always kind of like a symbol of racism. But once people started outing it and saying yes, it is, everyone made a big stink. And they're like, "No, it's not." You know it is, bro.
Yeah, but you can say the Queen's a staple of racism
niggas
too.
lost, bro.
But you
niggas lost. The South lost, bro. Get over it.
Hold the L.
Even the niggas with the Nazi flag.
So would you say that about Palestine?
Get original. Like, I can respect the Klan because the Klan is something new. You're on your own shit. But you're
like the Proud Boys?
The Nazis lost. You fucking lost. The South fucking lost. You're wearing a loser flag. Loser racist. They all fucking dead it off and hunted down. Whack.
So you're saying...
Why would you want to represent that?
You're saying don't rep the flag?
The white pride? You're going to go with the white losers? At least go with the Klan. The Klan didn't lose no wars. Just my thought on it.
No, you start the Proud Boys is the only movie you do.
I heard the leader of the Proud Guys is like actually a fucking brown guy, so I don't even know.
It's actually that like a Cuban, I think.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird. But then again, like Hispanics are equally as fucking racist. Like, I don't care. Like, oh, people of color, like fuck that shit, bro. Niggas are people of color. Everyone else just has pigment.
Yes.
You guys are not in the same boat as us because half you guys don't rock with us.
Did you
that people of color shit is not convenient until you want to cry about, oh, like we get racism too. As if it stopped you from getting anywhere in your life.
Did you see Black Lives Matter's Nobel Peace Prize nomination? Mostly peaceful in the park.
Like I said, bro, like, I believe Black Lives Matter, but I'm not associating myself with BLM the group because I don't know exactly what they're trying to do.
Yes.
I don't know what the end goal is, and I don't know what the fuck, how the funding goes. I don't know any of that shit, so I can't say that I fuck with BLM. But what I will say is Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, that's fair.
Simple as that. And if it's a Black Lives Matter rally, regardless of whether it's actually ran by BLM or not, I would still attend it because Black lives do matter.
Yeah.
But as far as saying, like, once they became like a group, an actual, like, you know, we have like meetings and chapters, I was like,
Well, they've been around for a minute, haven't they?
Yeah, but you're not the Black Panthers. If it was the Black Panthers, like, it doesn't matter what you do, and I'm rocking. Cause,
Black Panther's a sick name too. You're like, you know,
and they're kind of a terrorist group.
Like IRA.
But for the right reasons.
That's like.
The IRA was also for the right reasons too.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I was trying to explain that to my girl. I was like, she's like, would you like? Because I was like, oh, I had a dream we were being invaded. She's like, would you go to war? I was like, no, I would be like more of like a defend the land. She's like, so what would you be like, Air Force? I was like, no. Like, IRA is the only kind of stuff I would do, like a resistance from the people.
At the end of the day, it's like, you know,
if we are getting invaded,
it's not about being invaded. If the people want something, I think the people should fight for it. I say this consistently. I said a couple pods ago where I was like, yo, you should start attacking politicians. Like,
don't do that. You actually had an incite to violence, and then people raided the Capitol. Coincidence?
Yeah, maybe it was me, but no. But my whole thing is just like, yo, like, I believe.
I don't know.
It's a bit before.
Maybe not.
But like I said, I feel like people need to stop being so dormant because at the end of the day, like, these policies only fly because we let them fly. Like, you're just letting a bunch of random rich old white guys tell you what to do, and half the time you don't even agree with it. But you just let it happen. Why?
And now we are fighting back. We're sending AMC to the fucking moon this week.
Like, somehow, I'm just saying, like, we just can't,
to the moon.
As a society, we just can't afford to just continuously just listen to the man. Like, we just can't, like, afford to be so dormant. And that's why this COVID thing is such a big deal to me, because it's like, okay, at what point do people just say enough's enough? I'm not saying don't wear masks, but I'm saying at what point do you guys say, okay, like, if you guys want to keep us safe, why did you lock down the borders in the first month?
So you
Why are we locking the borders to the Caribbean countries a year into fucking COVID?
Well, the thing that...
Why?
Why,
Justin?
The thing that pissed me off, I got rent to pay at the end of the month right now. I'm losing my job because fucking COVID shut my workplace down for almost a year straight, and then they finally had to let us go. My other side hustle, I go to trade shows and events and sell stuff.
Can't do that.
Can't do that anymore. My third hustle is live performances as a comedian. I can't do that. So now you've literally taken away all my fucking revenue streams.
But you're going back home.
No, dog. I'll fucking make money. I'll do what I always do.
You're gonna slay the
cash
pussy?
work. No, you just do the construction cash work. Link up Landon and be like, yo, what are we doing this week? You know, there's always cash work. If you're willing to just do labor and you have connections to people that like need work, there's always cash to be made. It's not ideal, but for temporary in between, like,
it is a little harder right now because of COVID. Because a lot of people aren't able to do jobs.
No, man, I think
like I ordered windows. I can't get my windows done because of COVID, because of the fucking lockdown.
I have some savings too, though. But I think I'm just gonna take this opportunity to pivot and actually just build a business that I know. Because like you said, lean on family. I have a couple uncles that are very successful in business. They want someone to mentor. I should just like almost just go all in, pick like
why not
plan a business and like just
I would do that.
Be like, hey, can we arrange a call a week to kind of mentor me? Like
I have none of that.
That's what I mean. Like it's almost
I build connections to people that like, you know what I mean. Like I don't have like I should definitely think
But
about
right now, like the job I'm losing, I make realistically like $38,000 a year. So it's like, what am I really fucking losing? Why like. I can do so much other things to make that money. I can make that money
cash. You have
cash.
the ability to like actually like stretch your wings and fly. Why not? Why hop on the ground like a dumbass? Fly.
Yeah. Maybe I'll make a jerk off site. Tug.club.
I'm a jerk.
Alright, let's wrap this shit up. Cringe Kev.
After Jack Splittering.
AMC to the moon! Buy AMC. No, don't take. I don't know any advice, but we're sending it to the moon, baby.
All that.